guys, and welcome to this new exciting episode of the How to Find a Profitable Product series. And a lot of people came to me and asked, hey, why don't you make a video about Terapeak? I think it's a pretty cool tool, or I heard good stuff about it, so can you make one? And now I decided that I actually want to make a video and show you how you can use this tool in particular to find a product that you can use in your store and sell, in complementation to the other methods that I told you already, like Google Trends in combination with AdWords and like the other Google shopping tool that I told you that I talked about in the other video. So I want to really complement this whole series. And what Terapeak now basically is, it's a tool that helps you significantly when looking for all kinds of data on eBay and transfer it to your sales on eBay, Amazon, Shopify, and link everything together. And recently they even added something to research the products directly or source the products directly on Alibaba. So it's really like a very in-depth tool for everything related to e-commerce and sourcing. And I remember around 2.5 or 3 years ago when I started with professional selling on eBay that I used this tool, but then I didn't use it for quite a long time. And since all these people kept asking me about it, I basically got into it again and took a look and saw what the current and newest version of the whole thing is. And here we are now in the dashboard of Terapeak, which is a quite nice tool. And I will show you at least some basics. I can tell you up front, I didn't figure out anything yet because a lot has changed since I worked with the tool, like I said, 2.5 or 3 years ago. But I will do my best and tell you what it's about and show you how you can use it. Make sure that you check the link in the description if you want to test the tool. I think there is a 7 or 14 days trial, 7 days trial period, I think. And yeah, let's just get started and I can show you what you can use this for. Now, as you can see here, this is the My Sales dashboard, and this basically is to link all your different accounts and show and get an overview on how many items you sold, what the average selling price was, the total number of sales and everything. But it will mix in it will mix your eBay, Amazon, and Shopify accounts. So as you can see here, I actually have no account connected right now because I don't really need it for my Shopify accounts, and I don't have a very active eBay account, and our Amazon account is also, we thought that it makes not too much sense to use it in here. We don't really use eBay anymore, only these two with a focus on Shopify, but I didn't connect it yet since I just recently got the account. So what you can basically do is you can use your different stores or your different channels and show them here and see what your impressions are and how many products you sold and everything. So you have a very nice overview if you really actively use multiple channels. If you only, like we do, use one or somewhat two, it's not too useful to mix them up here. It's very useful if you distribute your overall sales evenly among your different channels. Now, I think for you more exciting and more interesting is the research part, and we have different kinds of research. And like I said, I didn't check all of them yet. I checked the product research 2.0 and the hot research a little more in depth. The rest I just clicked once and took a look at it. So what we will do now is the product research 2.0, and what this basically is that you can type in any kind of product and it will search on eBay.com, DE, CA, everything for these kind of products. So let's just go on with the infamous example that I had in my last video, the fidget spinners. And there should be a lot of information now. So basically the number of sellers, you can see here 9,000 already. So this shows that this is a super active market. They were 377,000 units sold only in the last month. The average price was roughly $8, and the average shipping price was $3.49. So roughly 81% of the whole retail price was shipping. So on top of the price, which is quite a lot. And the total sales were 3 million. Keep in mind, only on eBay.com, only within the last month. So this is pretty crazy, and it shows you how big this new trend is. And I can tell you right here already, I don't recommend to go in there. I will just show you how big this trend is and how you can use this tool to spot these kind of things. Now you can sort the listings by all kind of different metrics. So for example, the item price. You can basically search for super luxury spinners right here, and we see that there was one item sold of this, and one of this I actually can hardly imagine that they actually were sold for this price, but yeah, this is what the tool basically tells us. And we can also go by the other way and get to the maximum amount of items sold. So this guy sold 1,500 fidget spinners within the last month, so roughly 50 a day of these, but they only cost 115 and the shipping is free. So here you see already how really big your competition is if you enter this market. He is basically giving away the stuff for free. I assume that he's just about to get reviews, but potentially he will even make a very tiny profit depending on yeah, where he is selling these spinners from and what price he paid. But I can't really imagine that he will make anything yeah, anything useful from this price structure. So this is only for the last month. Like I said, we can also go back and say, for example, the last 90 days. And I assume that it doesn't show that much difference because it's a relatively new product category, but it's very helpful if you want to go way back. So for example, this requires an additional subscription to show the 3 and 2 year data, but we can go back to up to 1 year. And especially if you are in niches that are not as trendy and seasonal and special as this one here, you can really see how sales developed over time. So let's just demonstrate this by using something that is very seasonal, for example, sunglasses. And I assume that they recently go up very much. So if we just go back to the last 30 days, we have total sales of 8.8 million. And when we sort by the number of products, this guy sold 100 items, 80, 72. This is very great to see where all the competition is and especially how they price their products. And now what you can do is you can basically click on a specific one and not just the general type. And then you can take a look at the actual listing. So now we are in here and it shows that in total this guy sold 15,000 of these glasses actually, and 14 in the last hour. And here it says that it sold 100 items within the last 30 days. So apparently actually these metrics are not always really to the point. If we go only for the last 2 days, maybe okay, it says now it's 50. So if we just go for the last 7 days, now it shows 53. So I'm actually not quite sure how they are exactly measuring the number of sold items, because I can hardly imagine that they were selling 14 in the last hour but only like 50 in the last 7 days. However, like I told you, I'm not an expert with this tool. I just got back into it again and I'm basically exploring it while I'm talking about it, but it worked for me quite well in several ways when I have something in mind and I want to really test and check the prices and check the overall amount of offers and everything. I'm not an expert with this tool since I don't really use it on an ongoing basis, but you get the idea of using it to actually see which kind of products, for example, in sunglasses go quite well just recently or over the last year or anything. And this is quite interesting to know. On the other hand, if you really want to get a little more like inspired, you can use the hot research, and this basically shows you how hot certain categories are at the moment. So they are ranging from hot to, I think, super very hot and super hot. So here we have super hot, and there, for example, we have collections from stamps, we have pool filters, we have watch bands, and we have toddler safety harnesses. Let's just go with these pool filters actually. And it will show us now this graph of total listings and the average end price. So the average end price was always somewhere between like $75 and $85. And now we can also check top sellers. So we can basically see what who the guys are that sell the most in this category in the last 30 days. And This is another very interesting thing. So we can basically see how the overall sales are distributed among the different sellers. So we can see here there are a few sellers, like the top two basically are super big. They have $300,000 in the last 30 days with a lot of listings. But we can also use other stuff, like we have the graphical view that I showed you before. We can use the best-selling title, so we can really go down to specific products and to specific listings. And in this case, you see already we have the side mount pool, spa filter, pressure thing, whatever. And again, we can then go even deeper into the product, and now it basically makes a new search on eBay, and it didn't find any results for putting it that way back into the queue. But we see here that they have 47 listings for this, that there are 47 listings for that, the sell-through rate, the average price, and the total number of bids. So it gets very complex if you really use this tool in an in-depth way. Like I said here, the hotness is a very interesting thing to check what's going at the moment. And I think if you look at it, pool filters, sales rank 27, it makes sense if you take a look at the summer just coming and everything. So it looks pretty, it makes a lot of sense when you really spend a lot of time in this analytics tool, which is very complex. Then you see some patterns, and you see some stuff that you can do. You see some prices that you're able to charge. You see some trends that you may jump into, for example, inside of pool filters or pool ladders or whatever. Not too complex, not too complicated things I would recommend. But here are like a lot of stuff, so autographs and all kind of yeah, a lot of pool stuff actually. Here you can even they're even selling mining contracts for virtual currency, bitcoins and stuff like that. So very interesting stuff. Unfortunately, we don't really have the time to go through everything, as the video will go too long. But I can recommend, if you think this tool might be interesting for you, give it a try and test how it works. If you don't, it's also fine. Test it for 7 days and let me know what you think, so that I can really yeah, either make another video about this, or yeah, have some feedback for myself, whether I will do some more content and give you some more input about it. And the last thing I want to talk about regarding this tool is actually the source section. And now you can go to, and you have basically an Alibaba search integrated into Terapeak. And what we can do now, for example, is that we yeah, go with sunglasses again, and they are now searching it on Alibaba, and they put it in here. So you see the minimum and maximum range that you may be familiar with if you're using Alibaba. I don't know exactly the big benefit of doing it this way. Obviously, the site is a little more easy to use than Alibaba, in my opinion. And you can do a product research right from here. So if you open this window, you can basically search this keyword, so this product here that you found on Alibaba, this way directly on eBay. So you can basically, it basically types in the name of the product, and it shows you how many items were sold in the last 30 days, how high the total number of sales is, and so on and so forth. So it's basically a time saver. It doesn't really add any additional insights really at this point when it comes to sourcing in Alibaba, but it may be a time saver. So if you have in mind what you want to test, you can go here and see what the minimum maximum price is, and you can immediately compare it to eBay. So this is a quite nice tool, but definitely not as powerful as the research one, I think. If you have multiple channels and distribute your sales quite evenly, the dashboard for my sales is interesting, and here's another tab for SEO. So it basically suggests you useful keywords for your brand and your store. But I won't go into this as well now, since we're already kind of running quite long. If you want to learn more about this tool, let me know, and I will definitely make another video where I go a little more in depth. As I said, I'm not an expert with this at the moment myself, so I just wanted to present it since so many people asked me about it. But if you want to learn more about Terapeak, I will definitely make another one and also talk about SEO, and we'll probably also link my store to the my sales dashboard. Yeah, another thing, if you want to combine this knowledge with my 7-step niche checklist that helped a lot of people checking whether they're on the right track with their niches, make sure that you check the description and download it. It's a free PDF that shows you what to look for when you are approaching a new niche. So good luck with that. I hope that it really helps you, and yeah, see you in the next video, guys.